Living the 80-20 way. Imagine achieving extraordinary results in your life by doing less. Picture a lifestyle where you work fewer hours, experience less stress, and still accomplish more in your personal and professional endeavors. It may sound too good to be true, but the 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto Principle, offers a clear path to making this vision a reality. Richard Koch's Living the 80-20 Way reveals how a small percentage of our actions, relationships, and decisions produce the majority of our happiness and success. By identifying and focusing on these vital few, we can transform our lives, break free from unnecessary busyness, and embrace simplicity. This book is not just for corporate executives or business professionals. Koch's insights apply to anyone seeking a more balanced and fulfilling life. At its core, the 80-20 principle teaches us to prioritize what truly matters. For example, just as 20% of the world's population controls 80% of its wealth, 20% of our daily efforts often result in 80% of our meaningful outcomes. Understanding this dynamic allows us to shift our focus toward the few things that truly make a difference. What this book offers. This audiobook summary explores the transformative power of the 80-20 principle and how to apply it to key areas of your life. You'll learn how to achieve more by working less, using your time and energy effectively, identify your happiness islands, and spend more time doing what you love. Apply the principle to your finances, relationships, and even your daily routines. Embrace a simpler life that brings lasting fulfillment and joy. Through practical examples, inspiring stories, and actionable steps, Koch's teachings will help you rethink your approach to success and happiness. Why the 80-20 principle matters. In today's fast-paced modern world, we often feel pressured to do more, buy more, and achieve more. But this constant pursuit can leave us exhausted and unfulfilled. By contrast, the 80-20 way encourages us to focus on what truly matters, letting go of the noise and distractions that dominate much of our lives. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's not about having more, it's about having better. Imagine living a life where you prioritize quality over quantity, where your work and relationships align with your values, and where you feel empowered to make meaningful choices every day. This is the promise of the 80-20 way, a roadmap to transformation. This audiobook will take you on a journey through 6 insightful chapters, each designed to help you implement the 80-20 principle in different areas of your life. You'll discover practical tools for redefining success, maximizing your time, building stronger relationships, and even simplifying your lifestyle to align with what truly matters. By the end of this audiobook, you'll have a personal action plan to live the 80-20 way, a life that's not just efficient, but deeply rewarding. So, are you ready to embrace less and achieve more? Let's begin this transformative journey together. Chapter 1. The power of less. Achieving more with the 80-20 principle. What is the 80-20 principle? Imagine a world where 80% of your success and happiness comes from just 20% of your efforts. This is the essence of the 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto Principle, a universal law discovered by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto. In the late 19th century, Pareto observed that 80% of Italy's wealth was owned by 20% of the population. Later studies found this pattern everywhere, in nature, economics, and human behavior. In simple terms, the 80-20 principle reveals that a small fraction of our actions produces most of our results. For example, a few key clients might generate most of a company's revenue, or a handful of friends may provide the majority of our joy and support. Once we understand this principle, we can focus on the vital few things that truly matter, and let go of the trivial many that waste our time and energy. How progress relies on more with less. Throughout history, progress has been driven by the ability to achieve more with less. Take agriculture as an example. Thousands of years ago, humans shifted from hunting and gathering to farming, producing more food with less effort. In the Industrial Revolution, machinery enabled massive productivity gains with fewer workers. Today, technological advancements allow us to accomplish tasks in minutes that would have taken hours or even days a century ago. Despite these advancements, many of us fail to apply the more with less mindset in our daily lives. Instead, we often overcommit, overwork, and overstress ourselves, believing that working harder is the only path to success. The 80-20 principle challenges this assumption, offering a smarter, simpler way to achieve what matters most, identifying the vital few and the trivial many. The first step in applying the 80-20 principle is to identify the activities, people, or habits that generate the greatest results in your life. These are your vital few. For example, if you're a student, you might find that focusing on a few key study methods delivers most of your learning outcomes. If you're a business professional, a few high-priority tasks may drive the majority of your performance reviews. Conversely, the trivial many are those things that consume time and energy, but offer little return on investment. This could include unnecessary meetings, mindless scrolling on social media, or minor tasks that don't align with your goals. To live the 80-20 way, focus on amplifying the vital few. and minimizing or eliminating the trivial many. Applying the principle to work and productivity. Let's consider how you can apply the 80-20 principle at work. Start by asking yourself, what 20% of my tasks produce 80% of my results? For instance, if you're a salesperson, you might discover that a small group of loyal clients generates most of your commissions. If you're a writer, perhaps a particular genre or topic attracts most of your audience. By concentrating on these high-impact activities, you can improve your productivity while reducing the effort required to achieve your goals. Additionally, set clear boundaries to protect your time. For example, limit email checking to specific hours or delegate low-value tasks to others. Living the principle in your personal life. The 80-20 principle doesn't just apply to work. It can transform your personal life too. Think about your relationships. Which ones bring you the most joy, support, and fulfillment? These are the connections worth nurturing. On the other hand, if certain relationships drain your energy or create unnecessary stress, consider setting boundaries or letting them go. Similarly, think about your leisure activities. Which hobbies or pastimes bring you the most happiness? If binge-watching TV leaves you feeling unfulfilled, replace it with something that aligns with your passions, like reading, hiking, or spending time with loved ones. Small changes, big results. One of the most powerful aspects of the 80-20 principle is its ability to create compounding results. By making small changes to your focus and priorities, you can achieve significant outcomes over time. For instance, imagine dedicating just 2 hours a week to learning a new skill. In a year, those focused hours could lead to expertise or even a new career opportunity. Remember, it's not about doing more, it's about doing less but achieving more. When you embrace the 80-20 mindset, you free yourself from the cycle of busyness and open the door to greater success and satisfaction. Key takeaways. Focus on the 20% of actions that deliver 80% of your results. Identify the vital few and minimize the trivial many. Apply the principle in both your work and personal life. Remember, small changes can lead to big results. By working smarter, not harder, you can unlock the power of less and begin living the 80-20 way. Let's continue exploring how this principle can transform other areas of your life in the next chapter. Chapter 2. The 80-20 step process, a roadmap to transformation. Step 1. Define your destination. Imagine planning a vacation. You wouldn't start packing your bags or booking flights without first choosing where you want to go, right? Similarly, applying the 80-20 principle to your life begins with defining your destination. This step is about identifying what truly matters to you. Your ultimate goals, dreams, and priorities. Your destination should reflect what you care about most, not what society or others expect of you. For example, if financial freedom is your priority, ask yourself what that looks like. Is it having 6 months of living expenses saved, owning a home, or simply reducing your debt? If relationships are your focus, think about what kind of connections you want to nurture. Perhaps you want a stronger bond with your partner, deeper friendships, or more quality time with your children. To find your destination, take a moment to reflect on what brings you the most joy and fulfillment. Ask yourself, what do I value most in life? What would make me genuinely happy? These answers will serve as your guiding star. Step 2. Find the best route. Once you've chosen your destination, the next step is finding the best route to get there. This is where the 80-20 principle truly shines. Instead of trying every possible path, focus on the few routes that will deliver the most significant results with the least effort. Start by brainstorming all the potential ways to achieve your goal. Then, evaluate each option based on 2 criteria. 1. Effort required. How much time, energy, and resources will this route demand? 2. Results delivered. How much closer will this route bring you to your destination? Choose the route that offers the highest return on investment, ROI, while minimizing stress and effort. For instance, if your goal is to improve your career, you might consider further education, networking, or gaining specialized skills. If you're not academically inclined, a mentor or targeted skill development might be a more efficient route than enrolling in a degree program. As Koch advises, the best 80-20 route is often the one that's the most fun and least worrisome. When you enjoy the journey, you're more likely to stay motivated and succeed. Step 3. Take 80-20 action. Defining your destination and choosing a route are essential, but they won't lead to change without action. This is where the final step comes in. Taking consistent, focused action on the 20% of efforts that yield 80% of results. Start small and prioritize your actions. For example, if your route to financial freedom involves saving money, set up an automatic transfer to a savings account. If improving relationships is your goal, schedule regular quality time with loved ones. Small, deliberate actions compound over time, creating significant progress toward your destination. Additionally, remain open to opportunities and adjust your route if needed. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes unexpected detours can lead to even better outcomes. For instance, you might discover a new career path, hobby, or relationship that aligns with your goals more effectively than your original plan. Case study. Steve's journey to the 80-20 life. Let's take a closer look at Steve, a restaurant owner from Cape Town. Steve wanted to simplify his life while focusing on his passions, hospitality, teaching, and music. By defining his destination, he realized that success for him meant running a thriving business, while still having time for personal interests. Steve identified his 80-20 route by delegating tasks in his restaurant. Instead of micromanaging every detail, he empowered his staff to handle day-to-day operations. This freed up his time to focus on teaching and composing music, which brought him immense joy and fulfillment. Through deliberate action, Steve transformed his life. He didn't work harder, he worked smarter. By focusing on the vital few activities that mattered most, he achieved his goals while reducing stress and increasing happiness. Practical tips for applying the 80-20 process. Clarify your destination. Write down your top 3 life priorities. These should reflect what brings you the most joy and fulfillment. Evaluate routes. List all potential ways to achieve your goals, then rank them based on effort and results. Prioritize action. Identify the most impactful steps you can take today. Focus on those that align with your 80-20 route. Stay flexible. Be open to new opportunities and adjust your plan as needed. Key takeaways. The 80-20 process involves defining your destination, choosing the best route, and taking focused action. Success isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things efficiently. When you align your actions with your priorities, you unlock the potential for lasting change. By following these 3 steps, you can simplify your journey and start living a life of purpose and fulfillment. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to apply the 80-20 principle to your time, creating space for the activities and people that matter most. Chapter 3. Find your happiness and achievement islands. Introduction. Time as a valuable resource. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, yet it often feels like there's never enough of it. Why does time seem to fly when we're happy and drag when we're bored or stressed? What if we could flip this dynamic, making the moments of joy last longer and the moments of struggle shorter? By identifying your happiness and achievement islands, the 80-20 principle offers a way to maximize both joy and productivity in your life. Discovering your happiness islands. Happiness islands are the moments in your life when you feel genuinely joyful and fulfilled. To identify them, start by reflecting on your recent experiences. Ask yourself, when was the last time I felt truly happy? What was I doing? Who was I with? Where was I? Look for patterns among these moments. Maybe your happiness stems from spending time with family, pursuing a hobby, or engaging in meaningful conversations. These moments are your happiness islands, and the goal is to spend more time on these islands while reducing time spent on activities that bring little or no joy. For instance, surveys show that watching excessive amounts of television often leaves people feeling more dissatisfied than entertained. If TV isn't your happiness island, consider cutting back and reallocating that time to activities you truly enjoy. Whether it's reading, gardening, or socializing, the key is to prioritize what makes you happy. Multiplying time on your happiness islands. Currently, you may spend only 20% of your time on happiness islands. The goal is to expand that percentage. Start by identifying activities or commitments that don't bring you joy. These are your happiness desserts, and they consume valuable time without offering meaningful returns. For example, if long, unproductive meetings at work drain you, think about how you can streamline or delegate those responsibilities. By eliminating or reducing time spent on these deserts, you can create more opportunities to immerse yourself in happiness. Finding your achievement islands. While happiness islands focus on personal joy, achievement islands are about productivity and creativity. These are the moments when you are most effective, adding significant value to yourself and others. Reflect on the past week and ask yourself, when did I accomplish the most? What activities felt effortless but yielded great results? Who was I working with? Where was I working? For instance, you might find that early mornings are your most productive time, or that brainstorming with a specific colleague brings out your best ideas. Identifying these achievement islands allows you to replicate those conditions, enhancing your ability to get more done with less effort. Case study. Richard Adams and his creative breakthrough. Consider the story of Richard Adams, a British bureaucrat who discovered his happiness and achievement islands in an unexpected way. Adams realized his happiest moments were spent telling bedtime stories to his daughters. Encouraged by their enthusiasm, he began writing these stories during his free time. This simple hobby eventually led to the publication of his best-selling novel, Watership Down. Adams' journey illustrates the power of aligning your happiness and achievement islands. By focusing on what brought him joy and fulfillment, he created a product that brought value to countless readers worldwide. Practical steps to maximize your islands. 1. Identify your islands. Reflect on your past week and pinpoint moments of happiness and high productivity. Write them down and look for recurring themes. 2. Eliminate non-island activities. Identify tasks or commitments that drain your energy or waste your time. Delegate or eliminate these wherever possible. 3. Prioritize island activities. Schedule time for activities that align with your happiness and achievement islands. Protect this time fiercely, treating it as non-negotiable. 4. Combine happiness and achievement. Seek opportunities to overlap these islands. For instance, if you love writing and it's also a productive outlet, make it a regular part of your routine. The 80-20 perspective on time. Time is finite, but its quality can be enhanced by focusing on the right activities. By spending more time on your happiness and achievement islands, you can create a life that feels both fulfilling and productive. The 80-20 principle teaches us to prioritize what matters, ensuring that our time is spent in ways that align with our values and goals. Key takeaways. Happiness islands are moments of joy and fulfillment, while achievement islands are periods of peak productivity. Identify these islands by reflecting on recent experiences and recognizing patterns. Reduce time spent on unproductive or unenjoyable activities to free up more time for your islands. Combine happiness and achievement whenever possible to amplify the impact on your life. By focusing on these islands, you can revolutionize the way you spend your time, ensuring that your days are filled with meaning and purpose. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to apply the 80-20 principle to your finances, helping you achieve financial freedom and security with less effort. Chapter 4. The 80-20 Principle for Money. Introduction. Rethinking financial success. Money plays a central role in our lives, yet for many of us, it is a source of stress and anxiety. Most people believe that earning more requires working harder or longer, but the 80-20 principle suggests otherwise. By applying this principle to your finances, you can achieve greater financial freedom while doing less. The secret lies in focusing on the 20% of actions that yield 80% of your financial results. Understanding the 80-20 rule in wealth distribution. Globally, 20% of the population controls 80% of the wealth. This disproportionate distribution isn't random. It's the result of how resources, opportunities, and choices align with the power of compounding. Albert Einstein famously called compound interest the greatest force in the universe, and it's a key reason why wealth accumulates faster for some than for others. For individuals, this means that small, focused actions, such as consistent saving and smart investing, can lead to significant financial rewards over time. The 80-20 principle challenges us to rethink how we earn, save, and spend money, and to align our efforts with strategies that yield the highest returns. Step 1. Define your financial destination. Before applying the 80-20 principle to your finances, you must define your financial goals. Start by asking yourself, what does financial freedom mean to me? How much money do I need to feel secure? What lifestyle do I want to support? For example, financial freedom might mean having 6 months' worth of living expenses saved, buying a home, or reaching retirement with a certain level of income. Be specific about your goals, as this clarity will guide your decisions and actions. Step 2. Find your optimal financial routes. Once you've established your destination, it's time to chart the most effective path to get there. The 80-20 principle teaches us to focus on the routes that offer the greatest returns with the least effort. For most people, this involves saving and investing strategically. Here are some strategies. 1. Automate savings. Set up automatic transfers to a savings or investment account. This removes the temptation to spend and ensures consistent contributions. 2. Invest early. The earlier you start investing, the more time compound interest has to work its magic. Even small, consistent investments can grow exponentially over decades. 3. Eliminate wasteful spending. Review your expenses and identify the 20% of purchases that consume 80% of your income but provide little value. Redirect this money toward your financial goals. Step 3. Take 80-20 action. Action is the final and most crucial step. It's not enough to have a plan, you must execute it consistently. Start with small, manageable changes to build momentum. For instance, you might begin by saving 10% of your income each month or canceling unused subscriptions. Let's consider the story of Steve and Helen, a couple with a combined annual income of $78,000. Despite living paycheck to paycheck, they decided to apply the 80-20 principle to save for a $60,000 apartment. They automated 10% of their income into a savings account, cutting back on unnecessary expenses and focusing on their goal. After 6 years, they had saved $66,000, enough to buy their apartment and cover repairs. Their success demonstrates how small, deliberate actions can lead to significant financial achievements. The power of compound interest. One of the most effective financial tools is compound interest. It works by earning interest on both your initial investment and the accumulated interest over time. The longer your money remains invested, the more dramatic the growth. For instance, imagine investing $10,000 at an annual return of 8%. In 10 years, it grows to $21,589. In 20 years, it becomes $46,610. And in 30 years, it reaches $100,627 without you lifting a finger after the initial investment. Aligning spending with your values. The 80-20 principle also applies to spending. Instead of cutting costs indiscriminately, focus on reducing expenses that don't align with your values or goals. For example, if dining out brings you joy and strengthens relationships, keep that in your budget. However, if unused gym memberships or impulse purchases drain your finances without adding value, eliminate them. Practical financial tips. 1. Create a budget. Use the 80-20 rule to allocate 80% of your income to necessities and 20% to savings or investments. 2. Focus on high-impact investments. Research opportunities that offer the best returns, such as index funds or real estate. 3. Simplify your finances, consolidate accounts, automate payments, and minimize debt to reduce stress and improve efficiency. Key takeaways. 20% of your financial actions can generate 80% of your wealth. Define clear financial goals and identify the most effective routes to achieve them. Automate savings and investments to leverage the power of compound interest. Align your spending with your values, and eliminate wasteful expenses that don't bring meaningful returns. By applying the 80-20 principle to your finances, you can achieve more with less effort, freeing yourself from financial stress and building a secure, fulfilling future. In the next chapter, we'll explore how this principle can transform your personal relationships, helping you create deeper, more meaningful connections. Chapter 5. The 80-20 Principle for Relationships. Introduction. Relationships are the cornerstone of life. Our relationships, be they romantic, familial, or friendships, are central to our happiness and fulfillment. Yet, in the hustle and bustle of modern life, we often find ourselves stretched too thin, juggling too many acquaintances and responsibilities. The 80-20 principle offers a powerful framework for strengthening our most meaningful relationships, focusing on the 20% of connections that bring us 80% of our joy and support. The disproportionate value of relationships. Not all relationships are created equal. Research shows that a small fraction of our relationships generates the majority of our happiness and satisfaction. Think about your own life. Which relationships make you feel most supported? Who are the people you turn to in times of need? Conversely, which relationships feel draining or superficial? The answers to these questions likely reveal your 20%, the small group of people who contribute the most to your well-being. By identifying and prioritizing these key relationships, you can maximize the joy and fulfillment they bring to your life. Step 1. Define your relationship goals. The first step in applying the 80-20 principle to relationships is to clarify what you want from them. Ask yourself, what does an ideal relationship look like to me? What values matter most in my connections with others? How can I deepen the relationships that matter most? For example, some people value quality time and meaningful conversations, while others prioritize acts of service or shared experiences. Understanding your relationship goals will help you focus on nurturing the connections that align with your values. Step 2. Identify your key relationships. The next step is to identify the relationships that matter most to you. These could include a supportive romantic partner, close family members who share your values, friends who encourage and inspire you. Recognize that your time and energy are limited. By focusing on your most important relationships, you'll avoid spreading yourself too thin and ensure that your key connections thrive. Step 3. Strengthen key connections. Once you've identified your most important relationships, it's time to invest in them. Here are some strategies. 1. Communicate openly and regularly. Strong relationships are built on trust and understanding. Make time for honest conversations, actively listen, and express appreciation for the people in your life. 2. Be present. In today's digital age, it's easy to be physically present but mentally absent. Put away distractions, like phones or work, and focus entirely on the person you're with. 3. Create shared experiences. Shared experiences strengthen bonds. Plan activities that you and your loved ones can enjoy together, such as cooking meals, traveling, or simply taking a walk. Step 4. Let go of toxic or draining relationships. While it's important to nurture key relationships, it's equally crucial to let go of connections that drain your energy or bring negativity into your life. Consider the 20% of relationships that cause 80% of your stress or dissatisfaction. These might include relationships built on obligation rather than genuine connection, individuals who consistently disrespect your boundaries, friendships that feel one-sided or unbalanced. Ending or reducing time spent on toxic relationships can free up energy to invest in the connections that truly matter. The role of romantic relationships. Romantic relationships often have the greatest impact on our happiness and well-being. Studies show that people in healthy, supportive partnerships tend to be happier and live longer. However, like any relationship, romantic connections require effort and intention. To strengthen your romantic relationship, start by understanding your partner's needs and values. Communicate openly about what brings each of you joy and fulfillment, and work together to create a relationship that supports both partners' growth. For example, one couple, Steve and Helen, used the 80-20 principle to strengthen their marriage. They identified that Helen valued quality time and thoughtful surprises, while Steve appreciated words of affirmation and shared activities. By focusing on these key areas, they deepened their connection and built a stronger partnership. Applying the 80-20 principle to friendships. Friendships are another area where the 80-20 principle applies. A small percentage of friends likely provide the majority of your happiness and support. Focus on these meaningful connections by scheduling regular check-ins or meetups, offering support during challenging times, celebrating each other's successes. At the same time, don't be afraid to let go of friendships that no longer align with your values or bring you joy. Key takeaways. 80% of your relationship satisfaction comes from 20% of your connections. Identify your key relationships and prioritize time and energy for these connections. Let go of toxic or draining relationships to create space for meaningful ones. Invest in shared experiences, open communication, and presence to deepen your bonds. By applying the 80-20 principle to your relationships, you can cultivate a life filled with deeper connections and greater fulfillment. In the next chapter, we'll explore how this principle can help you create a simpler, more joyful life. Chapter 6: The 80-20 Principle and the Simple Life. Introduction. Less is more. Modern life is often overwhelming. From demanding careers to endless notifications, we're surrounded by noise, clutter, and expectations. But what if you could simplify your life, reduce stress, and amplify joy? The 80-20 principle offers a path to a simpler, more fulfilling existence by focusing on the few things that truly matter. Living the simple life doesn't mean sacrificing comfort or ambition. It means aligning your energy with what brings you happiness and peace. Step 1. Identify your priorities. The first step to simplifying your life is identifying what truly matters. Ask yourself, what brings me the most happiness? What activities, possessions, or commitments add little value to my life? How can I reduce complexity and focus on what's essential? For example, think about the items in your home. How many of them do you use regularly? How many bring you joy? Apply the same lens to your schedule, examining which activities truly align with your values. By focusing on the 20% of possessions and commitments that bring you 80% of your satisfaction, you can eliminate the unnecessary and make room for what matters. Step 2. Simplify material possessions. Possessions are often a source of stress rather than joy. The more we accumulate, the more we have to manage, clean, and maintain. To simplify your life. 1. Declutter. Begin by identifying items you haven't used in the past year. Donate, sell, or discard anything that no longer serves a purpose. 2. Adopt minimalism. Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about owning fewer things of higher value. Focus on quality over quantity. 3. Create a joyful space. Arrange your home in a way that brings you peace and happiness. A clutter-free environment can lead to a clutter-free mind. Step 3. Reevaluate time commitments. Time is our most valuable resource. yet we often waste it on activities that don't align with our goals or values. To simplify your schedule, audit your calendar. Identify meetings, obligations, or routines that feel draining or unnecessary. Cut or delegate tasks that don't contribute to your priorities. Say no. Learn to decline invitations or requests that don't align with your goals. Saying no to others often means saying yes to yourself. Focus on happiness islands. Spend more time on activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Step 4. Redefine success. Society often equates success with wealth, status, or busyness. But what does success mean to you? Is it financial freedom, time with loved ones, or the ability to pursue a passion? By redefining success on your terms, you can escape the pressure to meet societal expectations and focus on what truly fulfills you. For instance, Anne, an advertising executive, found herself overwhelmed by her high-paying job and material possessions. She decided to downsize her home, quit her job, and pursue painting, a passion she had neglected for years. While her choices defied conventional definitions of success, Anne found happiness and fulfillment by living simply and doing what she loved. Step 5. Find joy in the little things. Living simply also means appreciating the small joys of life. Epicurus, the Greek philosopher, taught that a good life consists of basic necessities: food, shelter, clothing, friends, freedom, thought. Consider what truly brings you happiness. Is it a quiet walk in nature? A meaningful conversation with a loved one? A good book or a creative hobby? These simple pleasures often cost little but bring immense satisfaction. Step 6. Develop a plan for simplicity. To live a simpler life, create an 80-20 action plan. 1. Write your ideal life description. What does your dream life look like? Describe it in detail, focusing on simplicity and fulfillment. 2. Eliminate the unnecessary. Identify possessions, commitments, and habits that don't align with your vision. Begin removing them one by one. 3. Take immediate action. Commit to 3 steps you can take today to simplify your life. Perhaps you can declutter a room, cancel a time-wasting commitment, or schedule time for a joyful activity. The rewards of simplicity. Living simply doesn't mean giving up ambition or comfort. Instead, it means aligning your life with what matters most. By focusing on the essentials and removing the unnecessary, you'll experience reduced stress, more time for meaningful activities, a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. As you embrace simplicity, remember that the 80-20 principle is not about deprivation. It's about abundance, creating space for the people, activities, and goals that truly enrich your life. In the next chapter, we'll conclude with a summary of the transformative power of the 80-20 principle and how you can continue to apply it in all areas of your life. Conclusion: embracing the 80-20 way. Reflecting on the journey. Throughout this book, we've explored the transformative power of the 80-20 principle in various aspects of life: work, happiness, finances, relationships, and simplicity. By focusing on the vital few instead of the trivial many, we can achieve more with less effort, create meaningful connections, and design a life that aligns with our true values. This is the essence of the 80-20 way, a pathway to both success and fulfillment. Key takeaways from the 80-20 principle. Let's revisit the core ideas that can guide you toward a richer, simpler, and happier life. 1. Work less, achieve more. By identifying and focusing on the activities that bring the highest returns, you can dramatically increase your productivity while freeing up time for what matters most. 2. The 3-step process. Define your destination, choose the best route, and take consistent action. These steps form the foundation for applying the 80-20 principle to any area of life. 3. Happiness and achievement islands. Identify the moments and activities that bring you the most joy and fulfillment. Focus on multiplying these moments while eliminating the unnecessary. 4. Financial freedom. Use the power of saving and compound interest to achieve financial goals. Prioritize meaningful purchases over material excess. 5. Deep relationships. Invest time and energy into the relationships that truly matter. Communicate openly and nurture connections that bring mutual happiness. 6. The simple life. Embrace minimalism and focus on the essentials. Let go of unnecessary commitments and possessions, and find joy in life's simple pleasures. Your next steps. Now that you've learned the principles, it's time to take action. Begin by reflecting on your current situation and identifying the areas where you can apply the 80-20 principle. Ask yourself, what activities or habits bring the most value to my life? What can I eliminate to focus on what truly matters? How can I align my daily actions with my long-term goals? Write down your answers and commit to small, actionable steps. Whether it's prioritizing a key project, strengthening a meaningful relationship, or simplifying your environment, every step brings you closer to the life you desire. A life of abundance and freedom. The 80-20 way isn't about doing more. It's about doing less but better. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. By focusing on the few things that truly matter, you create space for joy, creativity, and peace. This approach allows you to craft a life of freedom. Freedom from unnecessary stress, clutter, and busyness. Remember, the 80-20 principle is a tool for transformation, not a rigid formula. Use it flexibly and adapt it to your unique circumstances. With time, patience, and reflection, you'll discover the power of doing less and achieving more. Final encouragement. As you embark on your 80-20 journey, remember that the path to a fulfilling life isn't about perfection, but progress. Celebrate small wins, learn from setbacks, and stay focused on what truly matters. You already have the tools to live the life you want. Now it's up to you to use them. The 80-20 way is more than a principle. It's a way of life that promises not just success, but happiness and meaning. So, take that first step today and embrace the abundance waiting for you. Thank you for joining this journey. Here's to living simply, effectively, and joyfully, the 80-20 way.
If this book inspired you, you can get your own copy. Link in the description. Subscribe now for more life-changing book summaries.